You look at your screen, you think about the task you need to do, and in less than 10 seconds, you feel the overwhelming urge to do literally anything else. And you're not alone. Research shows us that 20% of all adults are chronic procrastinators. But for university students, that number skyrockets to 70%. Most people will tell you that you're lazy or that you need better time management skills. They're wrong. Scientists have recently discovered that procrastination has nothing to do with time or motivation and everything to do with emotion. It's a self-regulation failure. Your brain isn't avoiding the work, it's avoiding the feeling the work creates. When you're feeling overwhelmed, your brain hits the panic button and treats a spreadsheet or an essay like a physical threat. Today I'm going to show you how to hijack that biological response. We're moving past guilt trips and simple motivational techniques and using 3 specific steps to lower the mental cost of starting, so you can finally get moving when you feel stuck the most. First, make the task smaller and more specific. Self-regulation research consistently shows us that vague or poorly structured tasks are harder to start. We do better when the next action is clear enough to start immediately. This is why I always teach my students to focus on one point at a time. If the goal is to write an essay, the brain panics. But if the goal is to write one paragraph in bullet point form, the friction disappears. The brain can take action. One of the most useful things you can do is convert the task into a sequence of small steps. This might sound basic, but it's the exact kind of move that supports self-regulation and reduces procrastination. It's easy to think procrastination means we need more motivation, when what we really need is more structure. Second, use implementation intentions. This is one of the most useful evidence-based strategies to overcoming procrastination. An implementation intention is basically a very specific if-then plan. If X happens, then I will do Y. So instead of saying, I'm going to study for my exam tonight, which is a good intention, it becomes, if it's 7 p.m., I'm going to sit at the desk and do 20 minutes of practice questions, which is an implementation intention. It may not be very exciting, but it's very effective. A 2025 study found that mental contrasting with implementation intentions lowered task avoidance and improved a willingness to act. And that effect held over time. And it's not the first study to show that implementation intentions are a practical way to reducing procrastination either. That makes sense, because positive thinking doesn't tell your brain what to do next. A concrete action plan does. Third, lower the emotional cost of getting started. This step is underrated. If a task feels overwhelming, your brain is going to resist it. So one of the smartest things you can do is ask yourself, what is it about this task that feels so bad? Now, it's usually because it's too big, too confusing, you feel behind already, or you're worried that you'll do it badly. Or maybe you've just reached the point where getting started feels pointless. Figuring out why a task feels overwhelming is important, because procrastination is driven by our need to escape that negative emotion in the moment. And once you know what the friction is, then you can remove it. If it's too big, shrink it. If it's too confusing, just figure out the next step and ignore everything else. If you're worried you'll do it badly, then make the first draft deliberately bad. And if you're mentally exhausted, lower the bar, shorten the work session and do less time on it. That's not lowering your standards. That's removing unnecessary friction. Because reducing procrastination isn't just about getting started. It's about choosing methods that make progress visible, because visible progress removes that feeling of dread and introduces positive emotions. That shift matters because research consistently points back to the same basic pattern. Procrastination is about short-term repair with long-term damage. It helps you avoid the discomfort now, but it makes the situation worse later. This all sounds impressive, but the skeptical part of your brain is probably kicking in about now, because it all sounds too simple. You're telling me that procrastination isn't fixed by motivation or working harder, but by making the task seem smaller and safer. Basically, yes, but there are some trade-offs. The first is that this approach can feel slower at the start. Breaking down a task properly, planning and setting up the first step takes effort. The second is that it forces you to be very specific. And a specific plan can be uncomfortable when you already feel behind, because it removes any illusions. And the third is that it doesn't give you that last-minute panic energy that so many people accidentally rely on. It's quieter than that. less adrenaline, more control. And I'm going to be honest, most procrastination advice assumes you're starting on a good day, but most of the time you're not. You're stressed, tired, distracted, or feeling guilty that you've already wasted half a day. But here's the thing, that's when a simple restart ritual can help. Something simple like clearing a desk, writing down your first task, or setting a 15-minute timer. Not a whole life overhaul, just a repeatable way back in. Because the real goal isn't to become a person that never procrastinates. It's to become the person that can start and restart faster. That's much more realistic and honestly, much more useful. So if you keep procrastinating when you feel overwhelmed, I want you to remember these 3 things. Make the task smaller, make the next step clearer, and make it easier to start. I'm Dr. Teresa Orr. I'll see you in the next video.